So when you started this, Jesus, and so Marcella, in 2017, the 5 years prior to 2017, Walker's Point was undergoing like really rapid change with new housing facilities going in. You saw a lot of infill development. You saw repurposing of buildings. And Marcella, a lens that I know you have is that working at Walker's Point Center for the Arts is that of culture and art. Can you talk a little bit about the, kind of what you were seeing through that period of time, and then kind of the role that culture plays within these conversations of neighborhood and change and the potential of gentrification?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I think it's just the question of, as we're analyzing the development that's happening, I think for us as folks that are invested in the communities and then maybe have, direct connections to folks that are either being displaced or they're being affected in one way or other, I think it's our responsibility to really acknowledge the harm and damage that can result from decision making that doesn't include, the voices of the community in terms of like what investment is needed, what type of businesses are coming in, and most importantly, like where does the line of money trace back to in terms of that economic empowerment. So when I'm analyzing the impact of, just this development in Walker's Point, I'm definitely seeing folks that usually would not have felt safe. I think part of the conversation, especially with, the lens that we're seeing right now in terms of, police brutality and policing, is really, how are we creating safe communities, and how are we defining, safety, and how is that even, the center topic as investment is happening. So as someone, who, is brown, I think that it's also important for us to realize, I think, when we talk about our role in fighting gentrification, I think it's also important for us as individuals to acknowledge the roles that we play in enabling the type of, gentrification or enabling of systems that are disfranchising, whether it's people from physical space or disenfranchising them from feeling of belonging. So now bringing it back to my role as a director of Walker's Point Center for the Arts, this is an organization that has been in Walker's Point for over 30 years. It's definitely been a gathering place for folks that are very diverse. One could argue that the arts is like one of the ways that folks of different backgrounds, of different socioeconomic status can come together into, common language of analyzing, whatever, is happening in the world through the form of art. So to me, it's really important to really look at how, the center right now in 2020, analyzing, all of these intricate systems that play of power, of, belonging. To me, it has been really important in the leadership in our programming to ensure that we are welcoming to folks, that, that we are being seen as a advocate for, folks that don't necessarily get invited to these conversations of, the businesses that are coming in, of why they're coming in. I think that there's a lot of, criticism around how development happens. And I think that there are some changes in moving towards positive direction of, actual community inclusion, but there's definitely a long way to go towards that. And I just think that, we're in a very important moment in time to really, ask those critical questions, that it's not just like, oh, thank you so much for coming and, building this and providing jobs. Like really be critical as, stakeholders in these communities of, what are the types that are being offered, what businesses are coming in, and most importantly, how that's going to leave long-term investment, not just residual like in the next year or two or the next month, but really long-term investment that I think really complicates just the whole notion of what investment really means.
Sure.